Yo guys, what's up? It's WarSpirit back today with some more Titanfall. I wanted to do a little review of Marked for Death today, which is the new game mode that was introduced with Update 4. And Update 4 has been incredibly awesome so far, definitely the best patch for Titanfall to date, but I don't really want to go into details on Update 4 today. Just want to spend the time in this video with some Marked for Death gameplay and talk to you a little bit about the game mode and what I think about it. Probably throw a little bit, some tips in there and stuff as well. So my first impressions of Marked for Death, first time I played it, was that it was absolutely amazing. Game mode, it was pretty much designed entirely around how I like to play Titanfall. It's super fast paced, super movement focused gameplay. It involves basically teams charging at each other across the map throughout the whole game and just going for those marked kills. So what you basically have to do in Marked for Death is there's two teams, and at the start of the match there's a countdown, and at the end of this countdown one player on each team is marked for death. You have to kill the enemy marked player to gain 1 point for your team. When you kill a marked player on either team, the marks get reset, the timer restarts, and 2 new players are selected as the mark, and you keep going like this until you hit the score limit of 10. Now the score limit of 10 is pretty low. Most games for me finish in about 3 or 4 minutes of Marked for Death because I'm just basically charging around the map hunting down marks, and especially when I'm playing in a team we usually go 10-0 easily in 3 minutes because it's very easy to keep your mark alive when you have a little bit of coordination on your team, and as long as you're all good at parkour and stuff as well and running away. One thing I do love in Titanfall is sort of survival techniques. One thing that I'm always pretty good at in FPS is trying to keep my survivability up, which is basically using a lot of cover, ducking under cover when I know that a situation is probably going to go bad for me, and just especially in Titanfall I'm able to parkour away from any situation that I don't want to be in a crazy fight or something. I just need to back out, recuperate a little bit, and then charge back in when I'm ready and think I can take them all on. So it's really good for Marked for Death if you're into that sort of stuff, because basically whenever I'm marked I'm pretty sure I can secure 1 point for my team. Like, it's always a bit iffy when someone else in my team is marked. I'm having to rush the enemy player as fast as I possibly can before my teammate gets taken out, because teammates get taken out and enemies get taken out within about 30 seconds to a minute every time when they're marked. But when I'm marked I can usually last at least a few minutes, so I'm just sitting there prancing around the map or standing holding my ground in my Titan. Strider is awesome for Marked for Death because you can, well, it's really good Titan for evading enemy Titans. You've got 3 dashes, and then you've got your dash core, put your core accelerator on for Marked for Death, and then you can just outrun any Titans that come hunting you down, because there will be a point in the match where you are marked, you're in your Titan, and the enemy team does get a big Titan flank on you, so the dash core is really good to get out of that situation. And chances are, if you're good at stridering and parkouring and running away, then you can easily secure 1 point for your team, and that's usually how I play it when I am marked. If I'm the first mark in the game, then I will just not really care too much and I will just charge the enemy mark at the start, and hopefully, because I can usually parkour across the whole map and get to the enemy spawn point before they even realise that I'm there. They'll be just walking, plodding along to the middle of the map where they think the fight's about to begin, and I'm already inside their spawn area and shooting them up, so they won't expect the mark to be inside there, and I should be able to get the kill off very quickly like that. So what loadouts I love to use in Marked for Death are things like shotguns and SMGs, because it's sort of a fast-paced, rush in your face type of game mode. You want to be in the face of the enemy mark all the time. I guess other weapons would work as well if you want to hang back, but no one hangs back in this game mode. Everyone is charging, and that's why I'm having so much fun with this mode. So that's my sort of impressions of the mode. There are still some things that I could say are negative about the mode, like for example it is just another team deathmatch based mode for Titanfall, which is what I talked about before. We don't really need another team deathmatch based mode for Titanfall. We already had Pilot Hunter and we already had Attrition, and if I wanted to play a super fast paced intense game mode then I would play CTF, and that's just what I'm doing right now. Like, Marked for Death is obviously not as populated now as it was when it was released about a week or so ago, I can't remember, but if I want to play intense games then I will just jump in CTF playlist. I won't jump in Marked for Death. The time that I would like to play a sort of chilled out game mode, I would always hop into Pilot Hunter, but Pilot Hunter's not there anymore for me, so basically I can't really chill out and play Titanfall. If I wanted to chill out then I'm just going to play a different video game now rather than playing some chilled out Titanfall Pilot Hunter, because Marked for Death is definitely not chilled out for me. So it's kind of like that. I either play Capture the Flag or I play a different game. So I mean, Mark for Death is going to be disappearing. I don't know how long, because it's going to get replaced with a new featured game mode, which is going to be Last Titan Standing Wingman, which probably isn't going to be super great for me because I'm not a big fan of that sort of thing. But yeah, Mark for Death is awesome. Anyway, I just think that they could have incorporated the elements of Mark for Death into either Pilot Hunter or Attrition, because all Mark for Death is the same as those modes, except only one kill counts as a score. And I think all kills in the game should be counted towards the final score, because right now when I'm playing Mark for Death, no one seems to be, like, you don't even need to worry about other pilots in the game. The other pilots in the game who aren't marked are basically just like grunts that you use to farm up your Titans quickly, and you don't get a massive satisfaction from killing enemy pilots like you do in Pilot Hunter or even Attrition, to be honest. And the other thing is that if you do hunt down the enemy mark and then your teammate's mark dies right before you kill the enemy mark, then you kill the guy that was originally marked, and then you just feel disappointed with a little bit of frustration that that kill really doesn't count for anything at all. And you shouldn't really be disappointed when you're playing such an awesome game mode. The reason they added a game mode like Attrition was to satisfy new players who couldn't really kill any actual human beings, and they gave them little grunts to farm up and make them feel like they were still contributing to the score. And in Mark for Death, the only way you're contributing to the score is if you're killing enemy marks or surviving when you are marked. So anything else that you're doing is not really helping much, and you don't feel satisfied if you're not doing anything else. So what they should have done is just added marked players to Pilot Hunter and given 5 bonus points for killing a marked player every time, and that would have been a much simpler addition. It wouldn't have needed a whole new game mode, and it's pretty much the same sort of adrenaline rush and fast-paced action game mode. So let me know what you think, guys. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.